Hey guys, Kate Miller coming to you here on another Zoom session. I've got one of my favorite attorneys with me, Mr. Brett Holiday. Hey, Brett.
Hey, how's it going?
Great. Thanks for asking. So, Brett, wanted to chat with you today about a Court of Appeals opinion that came out in May of this year, May 5th. It came from a case in a trial in Durham County, North Carolina. It's the Padilla case. It's a child custody modification appeal. And just for all of my viewers out there, all of you millions of viewers, in North Carolina, family court, that's at the district court level. So that's your county level. You have a trial, judge issues an order saying, here's what's going to happen, here's what you have to do. And if either party is not happy with the outcome there, you can appeal the case. And so those appeals will go to the next level, which is the Court of Appeals. And that's who's issued the opinion here in the Padilla case. So Brett has read it and is ready to chat with us. So Brett, give us kind of your outlook and your take on this Padilla modification of custody.
Okay, yeah, sounds great. So yeah, the case is Padilla v. Padilla. The opinion came down on May 5th of this year. And so basically what this case dealt with was there was originally a 2016 custody order between a mother and father. And that 2016 custody order gave the mother primary custody and the father pretty minimal visitation rights.
Okay.
And so at the time of that 2016 order, the trial court that heard the case basically said, Dad had a bunch of issues going on in his life. He had, an unstable living situation. He had an unhealthy relationship with a girlfriend at that time. And then he also had some mental health issues that weren't being addressed. So fast forward some time, and Dad decided that he wanted to request a modification of custody, a modification of that order. And so in 2018, the court did agree with Dad, and they entered an order which gave the father additional visitation time. They still kept primary custody with Mom, but they gave Dad some additional visitation time.
Mm-hmm.
And so what Mom said on appeal is she challenged this on appeal, and she said, basically, I don't agree with this decision, and I don't think that you should have modified custody because I don't think that there were any negative changes in the kids' lives which would have warranted changing custody. And so what the
time away from me, like, why are you punishing me, court? Don't take time away from me.
Exactly. So Mom was, upset with losing some of the time that she had. And obviously by her losing that time is going to father at this point.
Right.
And so she said, look, I don't think there were any negative changes in the kids' lives. And therefore, if nothing changed negatively in the kids' lives, then you shouldn't have changed the custody situation. And so what the Court of Appeals said on the appeal was, first, they reiterated some case law on modifications. And so in order to modify a custody order, we know that you have a two-step process. The first step being you have to show that there's a substantial change of circumstances. And so basically a substantial change in circumstances, either in the kids' lives, the parents' lives, both of their lives, one of their lives, which impacts the children or will impact the children. And then two, that it's going to be in their best interest to modify custody. And so here the court said, look, we did have a substantial change. A substantial change doesn't just have to be negative. It could also be a positive in the children's lives or a parent's lives. And so what they said here is that, look, the father had, he is no longer in an unhealthy relationship with a prior girlfriend. He has addressed some of his mental health issues. He showed a 15-month lease, so he's got a stable housing. He had stable employment, and he'd really made a lot of positive changes in his life. And so the court looked at that and said, look, positive changes in themselves can be changes that are going to impact the children and which could warrant modifying custody. And so the Court of Appeals said that, yes, we're fine with the fact that you modified custody here, looking at the facts and saying we think that these positive changes are going to impact the children and that it's going to impact them in a positive way, and we think it will be beneficial for them to spend more time with their father. And so I think two of the key takeaways from this are, first, changes just don't have to be negative. A lot of times we think of court, it's all, we're only going to be back in court if something bad happened. Well, sometimes you're back in court because something good has happened. And so that's what the court's saying.
Yeah, it's like, let's hope that things get better so that the kids are positively impacted and are having positive changes in their life.
Exactly. And so the court's saying we want to be able to step back in if we can tailor things if they're heading in a good direction. The court's always going to, be there if they need to, if things are heading in a not so good direction, if that's the case. But, hopefully there are the cases where they're heading in an uphill direction, so to speak. And so the other thing that's important is the court pointed out that the positive behavior of a parent alone could be a substantial change. And so what they're saying really is that there is some chance for redemption for some parents. And now that's going to be a case by case basis. You know, it's not a one size fits all for every family. And each trial judge is going to look at the facts in each case. But what it's saying is that, you know, we're going to leave room for parents to improve, and we'll reconsider whether that's going to have an impact on their relationship with their children.
I love it. Yeah. I like that take on it. There's always room for improvement. You can always do better, make positive changes, and, you know, have a different outcome with regards to how your relationship with your kids is going to go. So I like it.
Exactly.
Like, I feel like John Krasinski doing some good news here, you know.
Exactly. Yes.
Some good news on a day. All right, cool. Well, thanks, Brett. I appreciate it, and we'll check back in with you next time we get some good news and good opinions from the Court of Appeals.
Absolutely. Looking forward to it.
Thanks, Brett. Bye.
Thanks. Bye.